Welcome to Ready Layer 1. It's a crypto podcast that focuses on the NEAR ecosystem. And we are coming to you live from NEARcon 2022 in Lisbon, Portugal.
Today's interview is with Ofir from Sweat Economy. He is the director of crypto marketing, and he gave us really great insight into what they're trying to do at Sweat Economy that is really beyond just actually, giving out coins and airdropping coins. It's a lot more complicated than that.
And a really cool thing about the project is how they have created a model that blends Web 2 and Web 3 marketing that I think a lot of other projects can use going forward. And it also really leverages a creative way to use loyalty tokens that I also think is super interesting. We hope you enjoy.
Thanks for joining. I would like to talk a little bit about can you just explain quickly to the audience what Sweat is and, why are you here at NEARcon, what it's all about?
So I would say the number one reason that we're here in NEARcon is because finally Sweat has found a place to develop what we've always wanted to develop, and we feel that this chain is the right chain to do that with. So shout out to NEAR. But let's start at the beginning. So back in 2016, the founders were in London, and they were thinking how to incentivize people basically to walk more. And so they came up with this really neat idea where they give people one coin for every 1,000 steps. And that company called Sweatcoin, Web2, as an app, now more than 110 million downloads. So it's the number 2 most downloaded app in 2022, like above things like WhatsApp, which is kind of nuts. And Sweat is the new project coming out of this company. Now, when Sweatcoin was founded, the guys had a lot of queries come in. Hey guys, why don't you do this as a crypto? It has crypto written all over it. And they said because we would ruin Ethereum. It would the chain would collapse.
Right.
And so they waited for years until they felt the maturity is there on the tech level. And so NEAR was the right platform to take the business to. So that's number one. Number two, Sweatcoin is basically a loyalty point. It's locked inside the Sweatcoin app, and you can only use it to redeem it for stuff like coupons, giveaways, prizes, and stuff like that. The Sweat token, new token launching tomorrow, is a cryptocurrency, which you earn for free for walking. And now, let's do a really important thing, because when you walk in a conference like this, I'd say 80% or more of the people tell me, "Oh, you're like STEPN."
Yeah.
And so we just want to say we really appreciate STEPN. We've read their white paper front to back. And really, it's a different business philosophy because STEPN is very expensive to get into, or how you would say a paywall, right?
Right.
So they have a high paywall and a high payout chance. We're free to use, and our payout is not as high as theirs.
Right.
And so we launched our app a week ago. It's a crypto app. You can buy, sell crypto. You earn Sweat for walking, and you can do a bunch of other things like NFT games, staking. We already have 1.5 million downloads, which I would assume STEPN doesn't even have until today because it's just not the way that they roll.
Right.
They have that high paywall.
Yeah. So when you kind of come to a chain like NEAR and you feel like that this is the right place, why besides the fact that the technology's caught up, why crypto is part of this? Why not just keep it as a loyalty program?
Well, if you look, I used to be a marketing teacher, and one of the classes that the school gave me to teach was Startup Unit Economics. And so you have 2 really important acronyms. One of them is CAC and the other is LTV. CAC is customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost you to get a customer accumulated across all your channels? And then the other is lifetime value. How much approximately is each customer worth to the business? The customer acquisition cost in crypto is higher than it is in Web 2. It's more expensive to get somebody to download a wallet than to get them to download an app. However, the lifetime value is way higher. If you can get somebody to be a loyal customer in Web 3, they're going to spend easily hundreds of dollars. Whereas, it's really rare to get somebody to spend $100 on an app.
Sure.
So, whereas a lot of the Sweatcoin revenue comes from advertising in Web 2. Advertisers are, giving away all these coupons for people's Sweatcoins. In Web 3, there are so many revenue channels. First of all, people can buy and sell crypto. They can participate in NFT games. You get the first NFT for free. The rest you have to pay for. And then you also have stuff like advertisers want to get access to our audience. They will pay much more for a user with a wallet than for a user with an app. Yeah. So it's really all a numbers game. We believe that this is the way forward for the entire organization. Sweatcoin, as the parent company, is super supportive of us, and they see us as the future of the business.
So do you think that your model for Sweat could be something that other projects could sort of look at as inspiration on how to?
I can't tell you how much. So here's the thing. You got to have a few key elements here. Most of the most successful businesses in Web 2, especially consumer, are free to use, and then they make revenue without you being involved in it, usually through advertising. So Sweatcoin was just pummeling its users. Guys, we're moving to crypto. Get the new crypto wallet and you'll get a reward for doing it. Every single sweat coin you have in your balance is going to be airdropped 1-to-1 as sweat tokens. Literally tomorrow. So today is the last day to do that. If anyone here is a Sweatcoin user, hasn't downloaded the wallet. And so that's why we have 1.4 million wallets a week and a half after we launched it as a beta, because people want to get those tokens.
Those are real numbers.
Yeah.
So when you talk about a Web 2 business moving into Web 3, sure, you can launch some other brand that is related to you, that has something, but if you connect the two with a direct link the way that has been done here, you can expect to see a significant result, you know? This is already 1% of the Sweatcoin user base, which took 7 years to accumulate in like 1.5 weeks. So I don't really know if I have much more to say, but I will tell you one thing. Everything in terms of marketing is separated. We have different Instagram channels. Sweatcoin doesn't have Discord because it's not crypto. We do. We just hit 100K. So a lot of it has been learning how to speak crypto, hiring people that are crypto natives, having different stand-up, daily stand-up for the Sweatcoin and the Sweat team.
Sure.
And so you really have to respect that you're not going to educate your Web 2 people in time. You have to hire your Web 3 marketers.
Sure.
That's another thing I would say. I'm new on this job. That's what they brought me here to do. I'm director of crypto marketing.
Right. So one thing I think is interesting about what's happening with you guys is that as you make this transition, I think a lot of the wallets were made in the background, right? Like, so I wasn't actually going through the traditional wallet creation method. Is that right?
Right. People had this kind of prompt inside their Web 2 app that said, get into the crypto side, give us your email, bada boom, you have a wallet address. Ta-da! Okay. And then we sent them an email with their login information, the secret password, the secret phrase and stuff like that. And guess what? Our number one problem in the last 10 days has been not having enough customer support agents, because our plebs, right, these Web 2 people are like, let me in. Right. How do I do it? Where's the forgot password button? It's like, welcome to crypto, sir.
Welcome to crypto.
So that's exactly where I was going with that. Of like, I mean, that challenge you guys must have of help handling that transition of it's a different mental model altogether. So is it just simply hand holding all the way, or is it more of like you have to actually start building out pathways to get there?
I mean, think about anything that you could do. So, there was a lot of hope around our Discord and Twitter communicating this in an effective way, but our Discord is 100K, our Twitter is 300K, and 13 million people opted into the crypto project. So the majority of them have not heard the word Discord.
Right.
So it's like, that's not going to help anyone except for the diehards. And guess what? The diehards already logged in anyway.
Right.
So it's like,
sure.
You just build a bunch of you make a blog post about how to do it easily, you make a video, and then most of the people never watch those, and they send tickets to your support team because they want help.
Yeah.
It's just, how do you handle large volumes of people going through exactly the same process again and again? I guess if we had more resources and time, the Sweatcoin Web 2 app would have had like an instruction manual that would handhold you but at the end of the day, if they can't find the email, they can't find the email. We're generating them new wallet addresses and new secret phrases, and that's where they're going to be getting their airdrops now for those people who have had that trouble. We're not, we're not, you can't go back in time. So
Sure.
I mean, that kind of sounds like because you're one of the first front of the companies doing this, that it kind of sounds like back in the day. I mean, we've been in Web 2 where people would have issues with that. I remember hand holding people 20 years ago in the Web 2, and now it's just like a nature.
Being logged into something in the web, and then how do I connect this to my app?
Yeah. Right.
Totally. So,
what is the long-term plan with the coin? Is it going to be that where you can actually spend it like you can the loyalty points? Is it going to be something further than that?
So I'll say this: Sweatcoin is a loyalty point, and it's locked in the Web 2 app, and so you feel as a user you're getting value. And at the same time, that's what we make money from, because every coupon that you purchase, somebody paid us to show you that coupon, right?
Right.
So in Web3, it's different because we have revenue models that are not so linear. For example, people are using crypto fiat on-ramps, so they're buying their first crypto through us. From those 13 million people who opted in, 5 million are Brazilians.
Wow.
You don't hear a lot about crypto in Brazil.
Yeah.
So we're really hopeful we're going to be a big gateway for those people. Buy your first crypto, get your first NFT, play your first metaverse game, and so on and so on. Our main avenue for making value for your sweat, if you're a total average user, you're not a whale, you didn't buy more sweat, you have 100 sweat, you have 500 sweat. You're able to stake them. You get obviously staking rewards, and then you access Reward Club the higher sweat you have, the bigger rewards you can get access to, and it's all prize draws. So, for example, if you have like a ludicrous amount of sweat,
Yep.
you will be able to participate in our highest tier of rewards right now, which is World Cup tickets in soccer for Qatar, including flight and hotel.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
You have to have a lot of sweat for that.
Yeah,
I
sure.
can't say the numbers before tomorrow
Right.
when everything launches. But if you're the most basic tier, you get an access to win Amazon gift cards, which everybody still wants.
Absolutely.
$20, $50.
Sure.
So it's all about, if you have more sweat, you unlock higher tiers of these prize draws. And that's a lot of the way that we're communicating value to our user base, especially in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the long-term play is, like in gaming and Web 2, is like 5 to 2% of your users generate all the revenue you need to keep everybody happy. But they like to be surrounded by millions of registered users. They
Right.
wouldn't do that in a dormant app with 50 people.
Right.
You got to have the whales, you got to put an ocean around them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how we see that, and it's unusual for crypto. Crypto is a high stakes, high rewards industry. We're saying no. We have what to do with 10 million users that don't spend a dime. We
Sure.
know how to monetize them as well.
Do you have a question?
No, go for it.
So, you said something in there too that was really interesting. So you want to be able to introduce them to more things. Are you working with other projects on Near to introduce them to things like NFTs? Because now that they have a Near wallet, is the idea to kind of incorporate more of the ecosystem?
So our strategy was that we will have partnerships, but okay, let me basically break it down like this. We
Sure.
wanted to have an aggressive first collaboration tier. So the first collaborations that we want to have go to our user base would be tier 1 projects. And when we were about to do TGE, we couldn't get their attention as easily. We got a lot of incoming from these new projects that are just launching, and they're like, wow, we'd love to do a giveaway to your user base. Yeah, of course you would.
Right.
So that's why we did a lot of these, like the World Cup tickets. We're giving away AirPods, MacBooks, a lot of crazy stuff that people really want.
Sure.
And that's going to be the first, let's say, quarter, maybe 5 months. By that time, you're going to see some of the top projects, not just on the Near protocol, but just generally in crypto, coming in and paying those high CPAs to get access to our guys. Cost per acquisition for everyone who doesn't speak marketing.
Yes.
This is something that I've had to learn, to be honest, because all my career so far in crypto has been up and coming shoestring budgets. One of the guys working with us, head of crypto, Henry, was very adamant that anything that we do, the first time that we do it is with a tier 1 partner. And that sets the standard.
Sure.
And then, you get taken, people look at you that way.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah.
And I'm seeing this is really cool. Now I'm like breaking it down. I'm seeing the model, and from like the marketing side, I'm like, oh, this is you've threaded the needle. Do you see it going past, because you're just sweat? You can sweat in lots of different ways. Are you going to possible like future expand on activities to earn?
There's like 2 1.5-year events, and they go like this. One of them, I'm going to start with not what you said and then get to what you said. So one of them is insurance companies give you a discount on your insurance policy because you connect your sweat to the insurance company, and they're like, this guy's fit. He's not going to die on us from a heart attack at 36 eating too many Cheetos.
Right.
So that is something that we're super excited to unleash. And people have asked me on the AMAs in the last couple of weeks, why haven't other people done that? And I said, because they don't have 110 million users to negotiate with an insurance company.
Right.
Try to do that with hundreds of thousands of people. They'll throw you out the door. They don't even reply your email.
Right.
So insurance companies giving you discounts because you shared your data, it's just a beautiful thing. And also, why haven't Fitbit and Apple do that? Apple tracks your steps because they're so compliant, they would never even think of trying to share your data with an insurance company.
Right.
And so we can just allow you to share it voluntarily and get rewards for that. So welcome to Web3. The other thing is what you just talked about, which is we're going to allow additional movement validators. So Sweatcoin Web 2, our parent company, is a movement validator. In our world, that's all they are, right? And then somebody else that does bike, somebody else that does swimming, that does professional like jogging and running, because we do walking, they could come in and say, Peloton, they could come in and we'll validate movement, and then we'll take a lot of sweat that we stake, and now we can reward people for movement as well. So that's like the long-term vision. If we get everything our way, in 5 years, you have a family of businesses that are incentivizing movements because they see that it works for them. They generate revenue, and it grows the protocol for everybody.
So going back to the token. So is that something that will be tradable, or is it only through
Oh, yeah,
rewards?
absolutely.
Okay.
We're launching tomorrow on, now I can say, I have not been able to say this all this time because they have to announce before you say about it. OKX, FTX, KuCoin, Bybit, and Bitfinex are all listing us tomorrow.
Awesome.
So it's going to be very widely distributed. And who knows how many dexes, but that's kind of wilder.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be a liquidity mining pool on Near and another one on Uniswap. So a lot of really, let's say, hardcore announcement stuff coming out from us in the next couple of days.
Oh, that's really interesting. So when you decided to join this, what did you see as the opportunity here?
Dude, my joining story, I
Yeah.
think, is really cool to talk about. So I had my own crypto protocol that's, let's call it a solution for small businesses and finance. Let's not go into more details, called Resource Protocol. And when I left it, I realized that my co-founders and I had a lot of arguments because they told me I'm too traditional. I'm not degen enough, and I have all these, customer acquisition cost and lifetime value, and I'd like for things to make linear sense. And they were like, linear? You're living in the past. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm living in reality. And so we had a lot of disagreements. And so I told myself I'm either leaving crypto or the next time I work for a company, they already have product market fit. They already have users. They already have revenue. If I can find one, they're already profitable. If I can find one, they have more than 50 employees. And they need me and my skill set. And I was almost about to give up because I was working with a couple of headhunters looking for opportunities. And when I was introduced to Sweat, I became obsessed about getting hired into this job. I was looking for possible connections on LinkedIn. Who knows the founders that could speak good things about me? And I lost sleep a couple of nights just before they got back to me because I was like, where am I going to find another company like this in crypto?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I didn't get hired to this one, let's go to the next one. They do something that's positive. They have they're a very grounded type of organization. I just love so many things about this business.
Yeah.
I only joined in May, so you can still hear the...
Yeah. What do you see as the impact for Sweat across the globe versus just, I think sometimes we get caught in our own bubbles. How do you see that?
My biggest hope has nothing to do with what you thought I was going to say. Yes, we get people more physically active. Obesity is a huge problem. I just spent 1.5 years in the States. Now I live in Lisbon. And yeah, people are bigger there than they are where I come from, which is Israel. And getting people out of the door, in gaming, they say, go outside and touch the grass.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sweat is definitely something beautiful because it's not about jogging. It's not about being a pro athlete. It's not about workout videos. It's about taking a fucking walk.
Right.
Can you take a walk?
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But my biggest hope, personally, is that we show the blockchain industry that you can do business the way we do it, that you can do something that's simple, that's free to use. How many crypto projects are free to use?
Right.
Everything in this industry is, can you have 2 ETH to start the game?
Right.
Dude, 2 ETH is a lot of money for most people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're free to use. We don't demand you to give us the money to make the revenue. We have all these revenue streams. One of them is that you buy crypto and you play NFT games that are going to cost you money, but many of them aren't. And you get fractional ownership of the protocol by participating in it.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
if we can have more businesses that are like that, then my sister will have a crypto project before we know it.
Right.
I was just thinking, like, your project is I'm going to basically try to write a deck on it and then pitch that to where I work. Because it's like you to have this level of like Web 2 to Web 3 is really, that's cool, man.
And it's not like you can say, oh, that's a great idea, Ofir. Why don't we also do that? Because you don't have 110 million users every day. Like, it's like an interesting consulting model where you find the companies that you think are perfect for this model, and then you pitch them to make the transition with them.
I love it. Yeah, this is great.
I think that's wonderful, man.
No,
thank you so much for being
I
on
really
there.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Ready Layer 1 is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose.
You should not make any decision, financial investment, trading, or otherwise based on any of the information presented in this podcast without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or financial advisory.